It's Hockey Night in New England, presented by Berkshire Bank, the official bank of Bruins coverage on NESN. It comes your way live from Canadian Tire Centre on the outskirts of Canada's capital city of Ottawa, Ontario, where tonight the two hottest teams in the National Hockey League face off in a game that is going to have a direct bearing on the race for the bottom wild card slot in the Eastern Conference. And hello again, everybody, alongside Andy Brickley, high above the ice with Garrett Austin at ice level. I'm Jack Edwards. Well, Brick, the Bruins are 4-0-1 in their last 5. Ottawa, by the way, 8-0-1 in its last 9. The Bruins are getting the points at a time of year when really all that matters is getting points, but do they pass the eyeball test?
Well, 5-1-1, too, if you want to extend it a little further in their last 7. It's a time of year where you got to amass points and you can't leave anything on the table. The eyeball test, I'd say sure. When they play the way that they can, meaning rolling 4 lines and all 6D, they're a very good hockey club, and when they control the middle of the ice and control the tempo of the game, they beat most teams.
Well, the wild card standings, as we look at them, you know, when you get more than a half a dozen points behind with less than 20 games to go in the 3-point games, it's almost impossible to make them up. So the gap between Boston and Ottawa could be 7 at the end of the night, could be 3.
Yeah, that's why it's a playoff game atmosphere, certainly from where the Ottawa Senators approach tonight's game. But if you're the Bruins and you look up Washington, you trail them by a half a dozen points, Jack, but you do have 2 games in hand. Maybe there's an opportunity to climb into that first wild card spot. But looking behind Florida, you're trying to put them, you know, in the rearview mirror. You got 3 more games against Florida, but tonight's opponent, the Ottawa Senators, this is their opportunity, and boy, have they been playing well.
The Sens keep finding ways to win. The Bruins keep discovering new weapons. The power play has suddenly come alive. On the whole, special teams have been a bit of a problem for the Bruins. They're still in a negative situation in terms of all power play or all special teams goals, including penalty kill, shorthanded, for and against. But they actually outscored the powerful Detroit power play on Sunday, and they're in their hottest streak on the Boston power play in more than a calendar year with 7 power play goals in their last 7 games. That's the key to the game.
Oh, absolutely. The Bruins, we mentioned that streak that they've been on, that 5-1-1. They've scored 25 goals. Their power play clicking at about 26% in that stretch, but 4 for their last 9. They're getting shots through from the point. Case in point against Philadelphia, the first goal, Chara, that quick release from the left point. That puck had eyes with good bodies going to the net. The game on the line. We talk about not leaving points on the table. Under 15 seconds to go, a face-off win, and again, a shot to the point that gets through by Dougie Hamilton, redirected by Marchand. Good use of the bumper. Both power plays are being productive. That time they used Lucic in the slot, right back to Pastrnak. Beautiful finish. Follow that up with a blast to the middle. They exposed the middle of the box. Quick release by Bergeron. Second chance opportunity for Louis Eriksson. And how about some short-handed success as far as scoring goals? Brad Marchand forces the bad pass in the neutral zone. Great speed, good finish. Danny Paille takes advantage of a turnover at the offensive blue line by the Detroit Red Wings. Again, great speed and a finishing touch, something that has hurt the Bruins at times this year. Well, they're finding the back of the net right now, especially in special teams.
I don't know what Daniel Paille has changed what he's eating for breakfast, but he better never go back to the previous recipe. Hey, you know life begins at 40. Well, for number 40, life now is a 28-year-old life. It's Tuukka Rask's birthday. He goes again for the Bruins. They're riding that horse. It's the Bees and Senators up in Ottawa. We're back in the flag. By Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. By Advance Auto Parts. Order parts at advanceautoparts.com and pick them up in-store in just 30 minutes. And by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Of interest to Bruins fans tonight, the Flyers hosting the Stars. Pick up the action early on, only 90 seconds into the game. Couple of good shots on net. Flyers control possession. Carlo Koliakovo passes to Luke Schenn, who lets the wrister go. Braden Schenn would get credit for the tip-in goal, blocking in front of the net. Dallas took, I should say the Flyers took a 1-0 lead. Dallas got a goal from Brant Ritchie, and they've now tied the game. That is at 1-1 in the first period. Bruins tonight taking on the Ottawa Senators. Sunday when they played at home against Detroit, Nicklas Svedberg got the start. Claude Julien showed some confidence in him, but they really have to get some good play from their backup goaltender from time to time here, especially with the way the schedule has been.
You may say Julien showed some confidence or showed some restraint by leaving him in there, and Svedberg did make some good saves. A couple of goals you have to say would be a little questionable. You'd like to see him make those saves, but I think all in all, helped his confidence a little bit. But it's still going to be about Tuukka Rask down the stretch, no doubt about it. He's played 54 games, and I'm looking through, Carey Price has played 53, Holtby's played 58, Pekka Rinne has played 52. It's not that out of the realm or that crazy that Tuukka's played as many games. It's maybe something we get a little too fixated on here. He's certainly capable of doing that.
Well, let's look at the schedule, in fact. And for the most part, you can avoid back-to-backs during the middle of the week, but you've got back-to-backs on the weekends. And those Saturday, Sunday back-to-backs make it a little tough, especially when you're playing at 4:30 in the afternoon on the 22nd. So you'd like to see Svedberg get in there, spell Tuukka Rask on those weekends, and do a good job at the same time.
I'd say being a goalie is a little bit being a radio talk show host. It's just not that physically demanding. You can handle it back-to-back.
Not digging ditches here, right?
So, I think if Svedberg plays 1 out of 10 games, that's going to be fine. And I think Tuukka Rask is going to carry it the rest of the way.
Sitting behind that desk is so grueling for you, too, isn't it, by the way? You see Tuukka Rask, who's playing on his birthday tonight, and he said he'd like to get the 2 points as a birthday gift. Guy who can help give him that gift is Brad Marchand, who has picked the perfect time of the year to get hot.
Yeah, he's... It's been a while. We've seen flashes of brilliance from him. Clearly, the year they won the Stanley Cup was probably the peak performance. And there's been some flashes of brilliance, but the real flair that he's played with, the energy, the finish, that makes him such an outstanding weapon for this team.
Now let's get you up to Ottawa. The Bruins set to take on the Ottawa Senators. Which hot team will cool off? Jack and Brick have the call.
It is a playoff-type atmosphere here, a big game between the Senators and Bruins in the month of March, and that hasn't happened for a while. The Sens hoping to cut the margin between themselves and the bottom wild card team, Boston, to 3 points. Starting goalies brought to you by your New England Audi dealers. Experience the new Audi A3 with legendary Audi Quattro all-wheel drive tonight. Tuukka Rask's all-time record on his birthday. He's never played an NHL game on his birthday. So this is the first. At the other end of the ice, Craig Anderson, in just his second game since his return from injury, just more than a month. This season at home, just 9 wins, a sub 2.5 goals against average. The Sens have come to life since the December hiring of Dave Cameron. And the game is on. These are 2 very confident teams right now, Brick.
Well, certainly Ottawa has to be 8-0-1 in their last 9. That's 17 of a possible 18. They went out to California, swept those 3 teams. They beat Montreal. They beat Anaheim. I just mentioned the sweep in California. So they beat division leaders. I mean, they're beating everybody right now. Although Craig Anderson's numbers against the Bruins in his career, Jack, not that flattering.
No, not impressive at all for Anderson, who is 6-9 with a 3.39 goals against average and just a .900 save percentage. And that's up from .899, which was where it was the last time these 2 teams met. Kelly swipes the puck down past Carl Soderberg. It rattles loose on the end boards. Patrick Wierkosh past Bobby Ryan. And here comes Mika Zibanejad, who has really had a breakout second half of the season. Zibanejad was plagued by a hamstring problem he picked up late in his summer training that slowed his progress. But he has really become an excellent top 6 center.
Yeah, and this line has been highly effective in the 3-game series so far against the Bruins. They're positive, +3, +3, +2 when you talk about Zibanejad in the middle, the rookie Hoffman on the left side, and Bobby Ryan on the right.
Cody Ceci turns back toward his own goal line. Ryan Spooner on the forecheck. Spooner has points in 4 consecutive games. Milan Lucic picks off the puck, gives to David Pastrnak. He risks one high off glass, bounces to Spooner. He drills it on Anderson. Gryba gets tripped up over Pasternak's stick. The Bruins are going to be shorthanded early in this one. And Jean-Gabriel Pageau holds the puck, waiting for Anderson to get to the Ottawa bench for the extra skater. Kyle Turris gives it over to Eric Gryba. Gryba back to Turris, and he gains the Boston line. Borowiecki tries to feed it through McQuaid, and the Bruins get possession. The tripping call comes at 1:59.
Yeah, pretty close to having too many men on the ice for the Ottawa Senators just prior to this penalty to David Pastrnak. Milan Lucic posted up right on the red line. You can see the number of red jerseys on the ice. With puck possession. That's 6 bodies on the ice. But the turnover, Lucic gets the puck to Pastrnak. And Pastrnak, as he spins and falls to the ice, his stick's going to kind of sweep into the skates of Greiber. Greiber's going to go down right there as he's trying to make a play on the puck. Pastrnak goes for a trip.
Bruins have allowed 10 power play goals in their last 10 games. Hoffman's shot goes off Marchand, and the way things have been bouncing for him lately is kind of surprising. He didn't have a breakaway chance. Marchand is not feeling good. He's on the Boston bench. This is an offside before McCulloch goes tumbling over the stick of Paille, so the play was dead. And Marchand working it off.
Well, it's a good shot block. He's got to get into that shooting lane, and he can't go directly at the shot. He's got to move a little bit laterally, and that puck's really high.
Ouch.
In an area where there's very little protection. That's why he went immediately to the bench. The Bruins got a good break on that offside. McCulloch was in. Torres was a little ahead of the play.
Erik Karlsson gives it right away to Zdeno Chara. He spins the puck back into the center circle, and Hoffman takes it back. Hoffman leading the team with 24 goals. Dennis Seidenberg on the far side shovels the backhand to Daniel Paille, and he scoots it the length of the ice. David Legwand is the power play goal scoring leader for the Sens. He has 6. McCulloch has 5. Here's Hoffman, and Adam McQuaid, the last layer, knocks the puck to the wall. Kelly can't get it through. Erik Karlsson. Bartkowski bunts the puck all the way past the center zone.
Yeah, Legwand has, what, 8 goals on the year? Yeah. 6 on the power play.
All those old fellas know how to put it in, don't they? Karlsson to Ryan, stumbles at the line, and the play's offside.
Bruins doing a nice job in the neutral zone so far. Got the benefit of that offside early on the first rush through the neutral zone by the Ottawa Senators, but they've been aggressive when they can be, when they force the wraparound. Seidenberg made a nice play to work it up to Paille. That 4 across with some good movement. They're not just standing still. Good angles, good body position, good stick position, creating some offsides.
Wierkosh, here's Legwand. Back to Wierkosh over the snarling Roman Senator at center ice. Legwand fires it right through the crease. Bergeron controls the puck, gives to Chara. He slides it up the boards. Alex Chiasson turns and whips it wide of the goal. Marchand back on the ice, jumps on it, uses Bergeron's pick, keeps on coming, turns at the circle. Bergeron in the backhand, can't change to the forehand as Legwand scrapes the puck away. Now Bobby Ryan in his own end of the ice. Only 10 seconds left on Pasternak's tripping penalty. Chara gives Wierkosh a pretty good shove off line. That interference penalty sure has evolved in the last 10 years, hasn't it?
Well, I know the Bruins scored 2 shorthanded goals against Detroit, but Detroit, they are masters. That interference, running picks, holding sticks, getting in people's way, and not really penalized, although I got to give the officials some pretty good credit. In that game against the Red Wings, they made a number of calls, even late against Sheahan.
Yep. 0 shots on goal for Ottawa during the early power play. Krug slides it over to Dougie Hamilton. To Gregory Campbell, he scoots it to the cornerbacks. Talbot in hard against Mark Mathod, who recently signed a 3-year extension. Curtis Lazar runs into trouble from Campbell. Lazar swoops into the backhand and carries it up the wing. Campbell shoves Lazar into the boards. Peugeot right there in support. Lazar to Peugeot, back into Lazar's fallen body. Peugeot gives Talbot a shot. The puck squirts to Talbot, but he can't control. Paille knocks into Condra. Some ugly hockey here, but Ottawa will take it because that's a scrapping line out there. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Since the 10th of February, look out. Sens are 10-1-2. They've outscored their opponents by 16 goals in those 13 games. Their power plays clicking at better than 20%. And the third period's very strong, and that's 18-9, despite getting outscored 4-0 by, of course, Calgary on Sunday night. Don't Bruins fans know about that?
Yeah, 24-9 in the third period. Shots on goal.
I'll tell you what.
What's the game plan for the Flames?
The Flames are everybody's second favorite team this year, except for Oilers fans, of course. Hoffman gives back to Erik Karlsson. He drops it off. Hoffman can't get around Chris Kelly. The ex-Senator knocks it loose in the Ottawa zone. Mathot chips the puck into the neutral zone. Bobby Ryan off the boards, but there's nobody there. Kelly rotating back to pick up the puck. Dennis Seidenberg tries to churn forward, loses possession. Hoffman will slide it in deep, and Ottawa gets a change. Bruins looking for their rhythm here. Haven't found it yet. Barkowski with a long stride gets into the zone. Spooner gets spun around. Lucic gets the puck unopposed. Back to Chara. Backpedals off the wall. The wrist shot saved by Anderson. Juicy rebound out near the hash marks, but Turris is first on it. Can't clear. Lucic knocks it down. Spooner fouls off the one-timer. You know, in Calgary's comeback, all 4 goals either were scored or originated from that very area where Spooner just attempted the one-timer out high, middle of the zone. Pastrnak flips the puck over to Spooner, can't backhand it through Greiva. And Turris turns his goal. Kyle Turris working around David Pastrnak, gets over the line, gives to Mark Stone. Stone centering pass. Bergeron intercepts, and he wants transition. The Bruins in the middle of a change. Bergeron gains the line, pulls up, finds Riley Smith. Smith trying to get through Stone, reverses down the boards. Marchand in a high cycle, can't connect with Bergeron, and the send's clear. Smith on the quick turn. The Bruins were working on this during their morning skate. The shot up high, glove side, and Anderson snares it. 13-13 to go in the first. Bruins still trying to find an offensive stride.
This is a special game for Ryan Spooner, who gets a chance to play in his hometown. Spooner's been on a 5-game scoring streak, and he had his first NHL goal on February 27th against the New Jersey Devils in overtime. This is a special night because he has friends and family here, and he said, Jack, he said it's always special coming to play here because he used to come and watch when he was 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, it's all good. Karlsson kicks the leg wide. Now Chiasson can't get through Krug. Long indirect pass intended for Paille. It's a billiard shot. Anderson plays it out to Karlsson. It gives up possession. Campbell into the middle, but Chiasson wrecks that bid as he goes through Talbot's stick. McQuaid holds his ground on the airborne puck and knocks it to the near side. Paille leaves it for Campbell. Campbell skies it to the far corner. Mathot on the backhand gives to Karlsson. He reverses. Paille jumps on that. Another turnover from Karlsson. Campbell goes into the corner. Mathot one-hands it up the boards. Matt Pumpel, who was a junior line mate of Ryan Spooner, brings it up the wing, fires it over Rask. Funny bounce off the end glass, rolled up on the strings. Hamilton to the sideboards. Talbot just gets the puck out of the zone. Borowiecki, 2 chances. The second one high off glass, and the Sens have to tag to get onside.
Yeah, nice recovery by Talbot. That pass well behind him by Dougie Hamilton on the back, and important veteran move. Get to that puck, get it to the neutral zone.
Soderberg powers the puck into the attacking zone. Here's Chara in that high middle of the blue line gap. And the puck bounces off the end boards. Anderson clamps down on it. So, you know, maybe the goals aren't coming the way they did 4 in the third period for Calgary, but the Bruins are finding plenty of space to shoot from the hash marks up through the middle of the attacking zone.
Yeah, they had to kill a penalty right off the bat here to start this hockey game. They didn't even allow a chance, really, for the Ottawa Senators. They have 3 shots. The Bruins Senators don't have 1 yet. And it took a little bit after killing the penalty to establish some rhythm offensively. It started with Barkowski using good legs, skating through the neutral zone, chips it down deep. Spooner puts pressure on, turnover, Lucic back to Chara. That was a pretty good shot from the point. Now the Bruins starting to find a little bit 5-on-5 in terms of balance and some offensive zone time.
Both of these teams have been pretty strong defensively in first periods this season. Both the Bruins and the Ottawa Senators have trailed only 15 times. And we got about, what, 18 games to go, maybe less than that in the season for both of these teams. They've only trailed 15 times after the first period, and only the Rangers, having trailed only 13 times, have trailed fewer times than that. So it indicates structure, buy-in, good defensive work, giving themselves chances to win by staying in it early. Bergeron ties up Torres Smith into the circle to win the draw, and there's Seidenberg throwing it on Anderson. Marchand couldn't come up with the rebound after pushing the pile. Seidenberg over to Bartkowski. Stone down into the corner. Bartkowski tries to glove it free. Bergeron holds. This is not a very noisy building. Never has been. Studious fans. They can make some noise every once in a while, but most of the time they're just looking at the possibilities. Marchand gives it to Smith. He tosses it into the attacking zone. Ceci gloves it down and gives to Wiercott. Back to Cody Ceci, who's in the top 10 in the team in assists. Krug, D to McQuaid. Diagonally through the neutral zone. Lucic flips the backhand in deep, swims around Ceci, hammers into the boards to keep the puck moving. Lucic back to Krug. Krug indirect off the end boards. Spooner nudges for Lucic. Lucic this way and that on Ceci. The diagonal Krug can't keep it in the attacking zone, but we'll keep an eye on the defenseman on Lucic's side of the ice next time he goes deep. Sometimes it's that second one after that first big hit that you see the difference made.
Yeah, and that was Ceci on the right side, and he didn't want to go get that puck first, certainly. Allowed Lucic to chip and chase and to get the puck to establish some offensive zone time.
Mama always said it was dangerous to play on the train tracks. We've got a penalty on Pastrnak. 4. No signal yet.
He put his hand on the top of the puck. Is that what he's called?
I still couldn't make it out. What did he say?
Yeah, right here. Put his hand on top of the puck. Okay. That's the second penalty already here in the first 9+ minutes.
Yeah, concealing the puck. Yeah,
of period 1 to David Pastrnak.
Carlson will run the show from out top. Wiercott to Carlson to Torres, top of the circle. Campbell gets his stick in the way, tries to flip it over Carlson because Paille would have been in alone. Kyle Turris speeds up into the neutral zone. Throws the puck deep. Gregory Campbell and Tuukka Rask after. Rask gives it to McCulloch. Turris right in front, and Rask stops Stone. The puck loose. It was never tied up, but the Bruins, the beneficiaries of a quick whistle.
Great stop by Tuukka Rask. His first one of the night. And this play comes from below the goal line, almost behind the net, right into that close slot. Stone's open. Puck gets to him. He tries to go high glove, but Tuukka Rask stays big enough, even on one knee. Keeps the glove in a good spot, keeps the shoulders square, just denies Stone.
Carlson quickly to the middle of the line. Hoffman gets it back from Carlson. The bumper is Ryan out near the dot, but Chara wins the puck away from Hoffman, and here's Marchand on a wobbler. Goes in alone on the shorthand dinks, and a save by Anderson. Craig Anderson with a save of the night so far. And back comes Hoffman, the leading goal scorer, and Rask makes the save. Carlson backhands it off the boards. Ryan swivels against Kelly. Carlson to Ryan on the half wall. Ryan closes to the dot. Cross ice. It skips past Zibanejad, who was closing on the weak side. Chiasson gets between Ryan's forehand and the end boards. Bartkowski to Kelly. Patient with the puck and slides it through the open lane.
Marchand made the move he wanted to, Jack. He tried to freeze Anderson with that puck off his left hip, then pull it backhand and go roof. But he healed it on the backhand.
Off the end glass, Kyle Turris with Chris Kelly stapling him into the corner boards, and Turris goes down like a sack of flour. Wiercott holds out at the point. Eriksson in the neighborhood. Stone. Wiercott. The wrist shot off the end boards, and Rask is aware of the lively rebound off the kick plate. Chara tries to hoist the backhand out, and it deflects right to Kelly. Kelly over the red line, softly into the end board.
Well, the Bruins did a terrific job of kind of painting Hoffman into a corner, in the corner of the offensive zone for the Ottawa Senators in order to create the turnover.
Rask, the glove save. on Pajot. Hoffman with 24 goals this season, but not yet one tonight.
No score first period. Bruins Senators. Bruins nearly take the lead on a shorthanded breakaway for Brad Marchand. Marchand with 5 goals in his last 4 games. 2 have been game winners. 2 have come shorthanded. He tries to make himself available. Bergeron wants to make a pass coming out of his own zone. He sees that puck go up off the glass. He just sprints into the neutral zone, gets a good bounce off the stanchion. Made a pretty good move, Jack. Tell you, he had Henderson right where he wanted him. Just the left pad extended along the ice. Just didn't elevate it. Healed it.
Pajot kicks the faceoff back to Weirkosh. Lazar's low-angle shot. Rask steers the rebound to the end boards. Dougie Hamilton chips it off the glass. And that goes the length of the rink. No icing as he slows down just before the goal line. Lazar, after inadvertent contact between Condra and Pastrnak, drops them both. Ceci gives to Pajot, throws it into the pile. Lucic fishes it out of the legs. Pajot on the turnaround shot. Lucic blocks that and then calmly flips it into Pasternak's legs in the neutral zone. Pajot knocks down Pasternak's attempt to lift one toward Lucic. Condra goes after Bartkowski, who gets the puck to Krug. Indirect for Paille. Takes a big shoulder from Eric Dryba, who is a big hitter. Alex Chiasson far side. Talbot going for major contact and spinning around. Borowiecki takes exception to the way Talbot went in there.
We'll head down to Causeway Street to see the action and excitement of Bruins hockey live this season, presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. Secure your tickets now to see the Bruins take on the Lightning this Thursday and Sabres on St. Paddy's Day. For information, visit bostonbruins.com or on the Bruins mobile app.
Talbot and Legwand on the faceoff. And Talbot gets tossed off the dot. Dryba steers the puck to the end board, slings it around. Bartkowski takes it unopposed at the blue line. Back through the corner to Paille. Talbot catches it on the backhand, snaps the pass to Bartkowski along the line to Seidenberg. Swivels it around. Paille lets it run for Talbot. Talbot holds. Borowiecki standing in his own crease. Talbot waits, fires it right up the slot. Bartkowski can't keep it in the attacking zone, but turns and wrists it all the way in deep as the Bruins change out.
It's a good game plan, though. If you don't have plays, make sure it goes back down for the point below the goal line. And to your point, Jack, earlier in the period about when Calgary exposed this Ottawa Senators team in the third period the other night, the Bruins try to use that third forward nice and high in that sequence.
McCulloch dribbles one toward Tuukka Rask. He steers it over to Dougie Hamilton. Takes the bump from Turris to move the puck to Chara. Out to Marchand laterally. Bergeron with Smith on the right. Back to Marchand. Marchand goes through Karlsson. The puck loose to the end boards. Marchand tries to drag it along but can't. Mark Stone up the wall and McCulloch bounces it center circle. McQuaid knocks it down for Krug. Krug into McCulloch's legs. Krug stays with it. Marchand to Krug. Steps over the line. Stick handles on Karlsson. Nice second layer by Stone. Sliding right into the passing lane to take it away. And that's what some of the Sens are saying about Dave Cameron's coaching style, that he doesn't so much criticize the individual as he reminds the entire team how the system is supposed to work. And some of the younger players have responded pretty nicely to that. You cannot argue with the record in the last month.
It's a great effort by Stone to get back. He's one of the impressive rookies. He and Hoffman are really making a late season charge here to challenge for that Calder Trophy.
And here comes Hoffman. He fires it to space and the Bruins leave it there. Bobby Ryan, who's a sniper, had an open chance, and Soderberg just in time got the stick in the way. Twisted but true fact. Senators goalie Andrew Hammond only got a chance to play when Clark MacArthur collided with Robin Lehner, and they both went out with cocoa butt concussions. Hammond was saving it because he was only 7-13 with an .898 save percentage in the AHL. He gets called up. 7-0-1, a 1.43 goals against average, and a .954 save percentage, off to one of the greatest starts in NHL history. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea, the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. They call him the hamburger. Carl Soderberg at the red line. Cranks it all the way around. Louis Eriksson on the far side against Patrick Weirkosh. Now it's Cody Ceci back of his own goal. Indirect off the boards. It dribbles past Zibanejad. Chara lifts his stick. Ceci rescues the puck over to Weirkosh. Bobby Ryan cuts back the long stretch around Hamilton. One hands it on Rask and cranks into the goal, taking it off both pegs to the end boards. Dougie Hamilton staying with Ryan, who is not only a sniper, as we mentioned before, but very elusive.
It actually looked offside to me, Jack. It looked like Bobby Ryan had both feet already inside the blue line, and not really with possession. The puck hopped over the blade of his stick, and he reaches back, and he makes a pretty good move to the outside around Dougie Hamilton, who tried to get it with the poke check. And as he tries to get that one-handed backhander away, just kind of loses balance in the check by Hamilton and ends up crashing into the goal, but it forced Rask to make a pretty good stop. This is the line that we talked about. Well, they've made a change now, but that's that line. Zibanejad in the middle between Hoffman and Ryan. I mentioned their plus-minus. Well, Ryan had the OT winner in one of the wins, and he had the shootout deciding goal in the other win against the Bruins.
Yeah, they're getting tired of him. Bruins will be back here next Thursday in that traditional road trip that starts in Ottawa, and the next stop is Florida. Patrice Bergeron just passed the red line, gives to Marchand. The diagonal move opens up a little seam for Smith. Tries to get it back middle, but it's off a skate. Seidenberg fishes the puck loose. At the hash marks, the defenseman pulls back, gives to Smith. The one-timer and a stick save by Anderson. Bergeron fires it through the goal mouth. Now Seidenberg all the way to the corner against Stone. Gives behind the goal. Marchand to Bergeron. Doesn't get much on the first chance. Second one dribbles wide of the net. Here's Marchand protecting the puck in the backhand. Flings it back to Bartkowski, fresh off the bench. Now gives to Seidenberg. Seidenberg off the corner boards. Rattles around for Smith. Smith against Borowiecki as the Bruins get good attacking zone time. Seidenberg flips it forward. Bergeron tries to golf it ahead. Smith is on it. Here's Bartkowski. The wrist shot saved by Anderson. Marchand battles it loose. Stone protects the puck against Bartkowski's check. And the Sens will get a free out as the Bruins want to change.
Now, good motion in the offensive zone. When you move like that, you just create so many opportunities for yourself to make plays. And when players had the puck out by the point again, making plays deep into the offensive zone if they don't have a tape-to-tape pass.
Bartkowski throws J.G. Pajot off the puck, and here comes Lucic. Pulls up against Mafat, drills it into his legs. Spooner finds Krug. His shot stopped in front. Pastrnak slings it over the top on a deflection, and the face-off in the Ottawa zone. But there it was again, that opening, middle of the zone high.
Well, it started with a great breakout, and I believe Krug is able to find Milan Lucic and Ryan Spooner through the neutral zone, and then Spooner makes a nice play from the corner of the rink back to the point. Pasternak's trying to get to the front of the net. If he could have handled that bullet pass in his skates, maybe get a different result and a cleaner shot.
Mafat turns his goal with Pastrnak limiting his options, so he just spins it forward. It tumbles all the way to Rask. Torrey Krug off to McQuaid, off Pasternak's stick, and it rattles, but Spooner has it, eats the puck, spins it behind Lazar, and now it's Krug past Lucic. This will not connect, and it's going to be icing.
Friday night, get an early look at this season's Red Sox live from Florida when they host the Yankees in Fort Myers. Pre-game coverage begins right here on NESN this Friday night at 6:30. Red Sox spring training games here on NESN are presented by Southwest Airlines.
You know, the icing gives me a chance to apologize for blowing the call on Saturday. I sort of threw Dougie Hamilton under the bus on the icing late.
Yeah, Campbell's play.
But I got it wrong. Got it wrong. It happens from time to time.
Rarely.
I'm batting a good 500. McQuaid up to Pastrnak, and the puck slides through to the neutral zone.
So is that coin I just flipped.
I'd take the coin. Much more consistent. McQuaid runs smack into a nice pick set by Kyle Raymond, the referee. Legwand turns and fires at the Dyers. Wierkosh to the hash marks, a funny deflection, and Rask shrugged the shoulders. The puck whizzed by. Legwand throws it in front. It's still loose out of Rask's glove. And McQuaid with a world-class blast on Matt Pumpel, pumping him into the ice.
Well, that area of the ice should still be earned, and you like McQuaid to protect that area. And the problem started when Rask couldn't handle that puck. He couldn't glove it along the ice, right at the top of the blue paint when it came out of the corner of the rink. The overhead look, there's a chance to put a glove on it, can't do it. Now the scramble's on, it's hanging around that right pad. Pye's trying to help out, but McQuaid does exactly what he should do, just lay people out.
McQuaid owns the crease the way Bob Gibson used to own the inside of the strike zone. You get off that plate, youngster. Zibanejad and Bergeron. Wiercioch off of Riley Smith's stick. Here's Hamilton, steers it middle of the line and slides through to center. Ceci goes indirect and plays offside. So 1:52 to go in the first period. 0-0, and as we said before, neither one of these teams has made a practice out of falling behind after one. You can see the structure on both sides, and you can see that both sides have had their chances as well. Hamilton, the long diagonal through the center circle. Smith gets a piece of the puck. Ceci turns his goal with Marchand racing in. That forces a pass offline, but it squeaks through to the boards. Hamilton picks it up in the neutral zone, tosses it back in. Ryan runs into Smith's check, stays with it, but Bergeron is right there along the boards. Sends it up the wall for Marchand with Smith middle. Marchand finds it in his feet. Back to Charles along the line to Hamilton against Zibanejad. Soderberg throws the backhand in front. Smith gets flattened by Wiercioch trying to get the puck inside the post. Marchand on the far side swivels it middle, but only Hoffman is there. Here comes Hoffman, 24 goals on the season. Ryan to Hoffman, the backhand save, and Chara bears off Ryan, reaching around with the stick to keep Ryan from getting a free chance.
Pretty good 2-on-2 executed by Ottawa to get that chance. Nice little give and go with Ryan delivering that pass from the right wing to Hoffman with his great speed down the middle.
3/4 of a minute to go in the opening period. Milan McCulloch can't control it on the backhand. Kelly gives him a bump. Bartkowski gives over to Seidenberg.
Yeah, and Smith nearly gave the Bruins a 1-0 lead on that rebound. A funny backhanded by Soderberg.
Kelly's shot all the way through and a kick stopped by Anderson. Might have been going wide anyway. Torres short of his own blue line. Stone on the 360 gives to McCulloch, sizzles one wide low on the glove side. Erickson diagonally through the neutral zone. That'll go past everybody. And they're going to call it icing.
Opportunities at both ends here late in the first period. We get a look at Riley Smith working the front of the net. Soderberg just came off the bench. Now he's in that high slot. He's just trying to throw pucks to the net, hoping there's some bodies in there, maybe redirect, maybe a second chance opportunity. Riley Smith got that, just missed. And then that little give and go between Hoffman and Ryan. Pretty effective play. Those backhanders are tough to read. Rask able to make a save.
Here's that Zibanejad line looking for a last-minute goal for Ottawa in the first period. Kelly jams the puck to the wall against Ryan. Bartkowski sends it around to Seidenberg. Seidenberg hard off glass, and the puck bounces down through the neutral zone. 5 seconds to go in the opening period. Erik Karlsson will bleed the clock dry. And they'll march down to the room 0-0 after 20 minutes.
Yeah, one thing we saw in that first period, Jack, was just how difficult it is with that structure to get to the quality scoring areas in both directions. I think what I like most about the Bruins, though, is they were shorthanded twice on David Pastrnak penalties and didn't allow that to create momentum or goals for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, the Sens just getting one shot on their 2 power play attempts, Dale. Boston Bruins Hockey on NESN is brought to you by Amica Insurance, now with new lower auto insurance rates for Massachusetts drivers. By Eversource, now one company provides the energy that brings us together. By Subaru of New England. By Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. And by TD Bank, America's most convenient bank. Alongside Andy Brickley with Garrett Austin at ice level and our NESN production crew and one lunatic in the stands, I'm Jack Edwards. Glad you can be with us as the Bruins and Senators get set for the second period. Imagine standing in front of the mirror and saying, honey, I'm ready to go to the game. Road Ahead brought to you by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Visit sullivantire.com/road ahead. And what a road ahead. You know, Brick, this 9-day stretch, which actually began on the 7th, the Saturday, against Philadelphia. You can make the argument that is as tough a 9-day stretch as any team in the NHL is going to face this year, considering the context, the time of year, how well these teams are playing in their positions in the standings.
Yeah, and the pace of the games come a lot quicker even than playoff pace because you're playing more than every other day with travel. It's not like you go to a city where you're going to play 2 games and having a little rest in between. So, yeah, grueling schedule for the Bruins here in the month of March, particularly this section of the month of March.
Game summary is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. And lest anybody think we're complaining about that, we're not. It's awesome. I mean, when the games mean that much and the quality of opponents is that high, you find out if a team can rise to the challenge. And this is a Bruins team that has needed that kind of stimulus this year.
And speaking of games that mean that much, take a look around the league, even tonight. Tampa Bay at Montreal. The Lightning have a chance to tie the Canadiens in points with 90.
Wrestling match between Turris and Bergeron at the center dot. Now Bergeron is an uncharacteristic 2-9 on faceoffs for the game. Bergeron whips the puck cross ice. Bartkowski takes it on a lively bounce, skates it up to the line, gives it across the line to Smith. He goes down and bumps shoulders with Methot, who's a big stay-at-home defenseman, and an excellent compliment to Erik Karlsson, who, as we all know, is a rover all over 200 feet of the ice. Marchand taking the Karamov, a skate, slings it around through the corner, and Seidenberg can't contain the puck.
That delayed penalty here, Jack, who was in that coverage down low. Methot in a battle with Riley Smith. I believe that was what the call was for a hook below the goal line.
It's like a charm. I start praising a guy, like Andy McDonald, I criticize a guy for his lack of ability to play D, and he makes a great defensive play. Same Methot's a terrific stay-at-home defenseman. He goes.
Well, here we go.
Yep.
He's in one-on-one coverage with Riley Smith. Riley Smith can be an elusive guy down low. He's able to step around with thought when that puck went down below the goal line in his puck pursuit. A little bit of stick work by the Ottawa defenseman. So the Bruins on the power play.
Bruins 4 for 9 in their last couple of games. Spooner. Hamilton at the middle of the line. Gives to Krug. Back to Hamilton. The wrist shot. Save Anderson. The rebound all the way to the dot. Krug to Spooner. The shot scores! Ryan Spooner stays red hot, and the Bruins power play continues to be a weapon. It's 1-0 Boston.
Well, there's a number of people in the building tonight happy with that goal. Ryan Spooner on the power play takes a good feed from Torrey Krug from dot to dot. He had to settle the puck before he wristed it back against the grain, but it's good puck movement out high. Again, the mobility of Krug and Hamilton, able to create shooting lanes from about 55, 60 feet. Anderson punches out the rebound, but the Bruins with their puck pursuit, good skate work. And whether this pass was intended for Bergeron or Spooner, it almost doesn't matter because it goes by Bergeron, gets to Spooner, and Spooner's able to settle it and snap it far side.
2 shots on goal during the power play for the Bruins. Mika Zibanejad gives to Cody Ceci. He backpedals behind his own goal. He's got Hoffman cutting to the right, gives to Wierkosh. Wierkosh indirect over Ryan's shoulder, and since it's from behind the red line, the faceoff comes back to the Ottawa zone.
There was a shift in philosophy by Claude Julien and the coaching staff. Go all the way back to that game in Edmonton when they put Krejci and Bergeron together on the same unit with Louis Eriksson and combine Hamilton and Krug, kind of load up one power play. Get a goal when you really need a goal, I guess, with some of that philosophy, and it creates a second power play that's a little bit different in terms of more of a shooter's power play with Chara out on the point again, not working in front of the net anymore. And now Spooner stepped into that Krejci spot. He's doing a nice job.
At a time when the Bruins really needed him to mature. Chara gets off his edge, back to the goal, and Spooner's right there to rescue the puck. Lucic, back with forehand, backhand. The pass gets away from Spooner. Wierkosh to the far side. Ceci drives it into Chara's legs. Lucic grabs it and tosses back to center. Wierkosh steps over the line while his teammates have not gotten through the door inside the zone on a line change, so it's offside.
There's no question that line, the kid line, with Spooner in the middle, Pasternak on the right, with Lucic on the left, they may have some defensive deficiency. So you try to get good matchups for that unit if you can. There are times against Philly and times against Detroit where they get hemmed in their own zone. And that's where you got to shorten your bench in a close game and try to get those guys on the ice in an offensive situation as best you can.
Well, what good coaches do is put players in positions to succeed. Carlson shot, kick, saved by Rask, and there's Paille, but he gives it right back to Carlson on the far side. Chiasson braces for the hit against Campbell. Pretty good contact there. Dougie Hamilton to the right of his goal. Up ahead for Talbot. He can't get it out of the zone. Legwand, the quick turn to Chiasson. Chiasson shot saved by Rask, who closed the 5-hole on him. Methot off Talbot's stick, spins like a coin to Chiasson in the slot. Legwand can't pry it loose. It tumbles over to Methot. Drives it down through the corner. Paille against Legwand at the half boards. Legwand into the slot for Carlson. Juggles it airborne all the way to the dot. Brings it to Methot. Tries to bunt it through Paille. And Hamilton's the next layer. Sends it up to Paille going 1 against 2. And Methot control.
Just too many giveaways on that shift. Paille came back. He was in good defensive position to pick up that loose puck in the slot and then just handed it right back to Carlson.
Condra's shot got a lot on that wrist shot, but Rask had good vision on it.
Pretty good pushback here by the Ottawa Senators after giving up the power play goal to Ryan Spooner and falling behind 1-0. Jackie talked about Patrice Bergeron, and in the face-off circle, you look at the numbers in Ottawa. None of their 4 centers coming into tonight's action had a winning percentage over 50.
Yeah. Bartkowski with the puck in his skates. Peugeot rams into him. Seidenberg steps off one edge to free the other foot to kick the puck clear. Soderberg collides with referee Kyle Raymond. Rask out of his goal, sends the puck off the end boards. Bartkowski on the quick turn. Off Soderberg's skates. Borowiecki off Peugeot's stick. Now Peugeot between Condra and the wall. Kelly takes a big hit from Lazar to send it around to Bartkowski. Eriksson pinned in, kicks it over to Soderberg. And Bartkowski finds a little bit of space, sprints diagonally, gains the line, pulls up, wrists it through the slot, nobody home. Eriksson on the far side. Kelly with the reach, can't keep it inside the attacking zone, then throws it into the linesman's body. Eriksson trickles it over the line, and Wiercaj has a free out. Condra nudges to Turris, the drive, save, rebound. A penalty coming up against the Bruins here for interference.
Now some sloppy play in the neutral zone while the Bruins are trying to complete a line change. They don't get it deep, and a quick counterattack by the Ottawa Senators is going to lead to a power play. They had some numbers coming across the line. A good purposeful shot by Turris. The rebounds potentially there. Condra on the net drive. He gets taken down. McQuaid will go to the box. The Ottawa Senators will look to answer the Bruin power play goal with a power play of their own, a power play score of their own, after they had 2 opportunities in the first.
Off Bergeron's face-off win, Chara fires the puck the length of the ring.
4 minutes, 14 seconds.
Adam McQuaid, the 3rd-ranked Bruin in terms of shorthanded time on ice per game. Seidenberg and Chara are ahead of him. Carlson can't get it through Bergeron, and here comes Marchand shorthanded. Holds at the top of the circle, gives back to Chara, throws it toward goal. It's off of an Ottawa stick as Turris made a doorstep deflection onto his own goal. Mark Stone cuts inside the dot, drops for Turris, the shot, and a save by Rask off of the bar, sky high, drops into the slot. Eriksson can't get it out of the zone. Hoffman with the Bruins scrambling around. Carlson hammers one, and with McCulloch screening Rask, this puck comes off of Kelly's stick. A beautiful centering feed inadvertently, and Rask has to make another stop as the Bruins have some scrambling moments, to say the least.
Great save by Rask using that upper body, short side on the drive by Carlson. The first opportunity runs the crossbar.
Yep.
Blocker side.
He got a piece of that before the bar, right? I think he did. Campbell picks off Carlson's pass. But here comes the Banijad. Banijad takes a stick to the midsection and takes it out of Bartkowski. The backhand pass to Legwand. To Ceci quickly off the boards. It opens things up. Hoffman slings it cross ice. Too hot for Legwand to handle. Ceci on goal. And a shot by Hoffman off the post on the stick side of Rask. The birthday boy has his best buddies with him today. A couple of iron hits by Ottawa during the power play.
Hamilton was in a good spot to clean up that rebound. He just handed it right back to Hoffman.
Pajot with the shift. The backhand short hops the blocker on Rask. Torrey Krug, who had the assist on the power play goal, along with Dougie Hamilton picking up an assist on Spooner's goal. Lazar bumps Spooner. Now here's Ceci, the defenseman, taking the middle of the ice, 3-on-2. Pajot's shot saved Rask. And Barkowski, or rather Krug, across the middle to knock the puck loose. The Bruins in possession, and a penalty coming against Ottawa. Rask vacates the goal to the Boston bench, and the crowd shows its disapproval of the referee's judgment. David Pastrnak, as Seidenberg left, gives it to him. He gains the line. Seidenberg hits the brakes, loses an edge. Greiva takes possession, and cross-checking is the signal. Bruins will go to the power play, which produced the game's only goal when the game resumes.
At the fact Ottawa not tying this game on their power play, tremendous opportunities. Torres rips one after that backhand feed from Stone off the crossbar. Carlson walks in, tries to go high short side with a slapper. Stone right in front of the backhand, tries to chip it over the pad and glove. Rask able to get that. And then after the initial stop with Ceci in front of the net, Hoffman picks up that clearing attempt by Hamilton and rings it off the near side post.
Power play brought to you by Arbella, here for Bruins fans, here for good. So Boston on the power play. Torrey Krug, saucer pass, bounces over Hamilton's stick, hits the boards. Conver rips it away, but Rask comes way out of the goal and steers it off the board. Hamilton center circle to Spooner over the line to Bergeron against Mafat. Tumbles it through the slot, and it goes all the way to Ceci, hard off the boards. Krug knocks it down and makes a nifty play around Legwand to get the puck to Bergeron. Eriksson high slot. Bergeron the diagonal to Hamilton to Spooner on the half boards, and Bergeron sets up. It's the bumper in the high slot again. Spooner to Hamilton out top alone with Conrad in his face. Slides it over to Krug. Legwand in the neighborhood. Bergeron tries to bump it through. It hits Legwand. Pinballs around. Ceci gets good body position on Bergeron, but Eriksson's over there to help out. Bergeron swats it back up the boards for Krug over to Hamilton. The wrist shot and a leg stop by Anderson. He collects his own rebound off the end boards.
Torrey Krug doing a nice job at that left point, Jack, as you pointed out, to keep that play alive. And not only alive, he puts it in a good spot for Bergeron. A couple of times Spooner and Hamilton playing catch, and Spooner's pass, it generally dictates what he's thinking Hamilton should do. If it's kind of soft and right between the middle of the legs, he's thinking one-timer, but Hamilton has that final decision. Do I have a lane to let it fly?
Pastrnak back to Chara to Riley Smith. Chara through the passing lane. Pastrnak looking shot all the way off Borowiecki, and it caroms off the end glass. Chara uses the reach to get it to Smith around the perimeter. Pastrnak, a bomb that goes well wide. Chara tries to slip it to the dot to Lucic. A good play by Pajot to get there and knock the puck loose.
Yeah, that's twice now Ottawa's really sniffed out that bumper play.
Pastrnak, it ends up being indirect. Smith collects the puck and tries to wrist it around through the corner, but it goes up and out of play, so the faceoff is coming all the way back to the center dot.
Well, Pastrnak got a couple of opportunities here in the offensive zone with the man advantage. One was that patented weight shift wrister when he tried to go high, like he scored against Detroit from a similar spot. The second one was that one-timer that had a lot on it, just not between the posts or below the crossbar.
Bergeron wins the draw to Dougie Hamilton. He's got Krug on the other side of the ice. Still about 20 seconds to go in the Boston power play. Hamilton into the zone, the hard wrist shot, and Craig Anderson makes the glove save.
Heads up play by Dougie Hamilton. If they're going to give you ice, go ahead and take it. Even though you kind of freeze the other four guys at the blue line, if you got enough speed and an option maybe to make a pass, you get inside close to that top of the circles, let it fly, try and score a goal, try to score off the rush. Now you get an offensive zone draw with still some time.
Bergeron wins the draw on the backhand side. Hamilton to Krug to Hamilton. Legwand shuts down the space. Spooner's shot rattles around the front, and it comes off of Krug underneath Anderson and all the way out the other side. Hamilton down into the corner. Final seconds of the power play. Bergeron's redirect goes just past the post. Back to 5-on-5. Hamilton's shot, save, rebound to Bergeron, but he couldn't control the bouncing puck. 2 shots on goal for the Bruins during the man advantage. Here's Lazar fresh out of the box, tries to feed it low, gets it back off Hamilton's stick, collects it on the backhand through the corner. Legwand nudges it around. Gregory Campbell takes the puck, scoops it out center circle. Eriksson back to Hamilton. On to the left to Spooner with Campbell on the net. Drive Spooner's shot saved by Anderson. And Weirkosh unloads and rearranges Campbell's helmet on his noggin.
Some pretty good looks, some pretty decent opportunities for the Bruins power play late. The shot by Spooner. Eriksson working the front of the net. Krug comes in off that far dot. He gets it with his body. It goes off his body. The overhead shows just how close that came to going in. And probably would have counted. Good net drive off your body. No kicking. No directing of the puck. It just hits you. If it happens to go in, it's a good goal, but it just missed that far post.
Krug put an end to the longest consecutive games pointless streak that he's had since October, which was just 4 games, by the way. We're talking about a defenseman. And in the Bruins system, that is a very consistent output. Torrey Krug has really won himself a spot at the National Hockey League level. Mika Zibanejad over to Bobby Ryan. The shot goes off of McQuaid's hand, I believe, and he's very gingerly holding the stick with the top hand, the left hand.
Yeah, that inside of the glove that was exposed on the shot by Ryan. That's where McQuaid got it.
Max Talbot creating something against Bobby Ryan right in front. It goes off Weirkosh's stick. He clubs it up the middle, swatting it with his hand. Zibanejad taking the puck to safety, getting it back from Hoffman, then goes through the legs to Karlsson. Hoffman sprinting up the right side as Karlsson leads the rush. Behind the back, the move, and a save by Rask. The rebound, Ryan off Campbell, and deflects up and out of play. Circus move by Mike Hoffman. We'll look at Ryan Spooner's goal after this short break on the Berkshire Bank Rewind.
Are on live. We're going to rewind it to earlier this period. The Bruins on the power play. Ryan Spooner back in familiar territory here in Ottawa. Going to give the Bruins a 1-0 lead. Some great movement out high between Hamilton and Krug. And they're able to work that puck towards the goal. The wrist shot by Hamilton forces Anderson to make a save with the block. And somehow the Bruins react to that loose puck. Krug with that mobility gets inside the dot, jumps on that loose puck. Spooner's in a real good position to receive that. And then watch the follow through by Spooner. Picks out a spot back against the grain. He doesn't want to hit bodies. He knows he's got Louis Eriksson in there in coverage with Greiber, and he goes far side off that post and in.
Vote for your favorite exciting rewind and enter the mortgage sweepstakes. Each month, Berkshire will give away great prizes, and at the end of the season, one winner will have their mortgage paid for a year. Go to NESN.com/Berkshire Bank for details. Life is exciting. Let Berkshire Bank help. At Bartkowski, long indirect from Marchand, working against Karlsson, backs in against him, holds. Bergeron through the slot, and Turris is strong on the stick, so Bergeron can't get the shot off. Bartkowski stretches forward to nudge the puck over the red line. Bergeron wheels it far corner. Methot swats it one-handed all the way back to Bartkowski. He wraps it around through the corner. Now it goes past Marchand. Seidenberg bumps into Methot, and the puck loose to Bergeron. Scoots it back to Seidenberg. The defenseman sends it in forward to the goal line to Smith. Smith feathers it back to Seidenberg. The drive offline looking for Marchand's off the post tip, but it rattles into Karlsson's legs. Now it's Bergeron from Marchand. The shot saved by Anderson. And here comes Erik Karlsson, one of the best skaters in the world. Gives the Turris with Karlsson going net. Saved by Rask. Seidenberg inadvertently sweeps it to the wrong side. Here's Marchand, rink length, one-on-one, but he's running out of gas. Then makes this change of speed move on Borowiecki. Gets help from Soderberg. He throws it off Borowiecki's legs, and the puck comes all the way back to Rask. Marchand was trying to squeeze fumes out of the tank there.
Almost pulled it off.
Took a little rest for about a third of a second.
Now the Bruins, that line did a real good job along with the D pair.
Soderberg with a bomb comes striding into it, and Anderson has it stuck to his palm. No whistle for some reason, although it was in there for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, they wanted him to play it. There was no Bruin in the neighborhood. But just to finish that thought, it was Bartkowski and Seidenberg along with the Bergeron line. They kept keeping the puck below the goal line and forcing Ottawa to try and play defense. Smith came in off that left wing on a nice pass from Bergeron behind the net.
McQuaid with another huge hit on Pumple. It's the second one he's delivered tonight. McQuaid from behind the red line. Funny bounce off the corner boards. Almost scored it on goal. Driver right through the blue paint in front of Craig Anderson. Borowiecki telegraphs the pass. Hamilton tries to hammer it deep, but couldn't get a clean swat at the puck. Pumple twists one in to Tuukka Rask. Hamilton under pressure from Peugeot's forecheck. Spooner there to help out. Peugeot keeps the feet moving from his knees. Plays it to the corner. Lucci turns up ice. Condra turns his skate blade sideways to block the pass. Chara's in trouble in his own zone. Backhands it hard off the boards. It tumbles over Lazar's stick to center. Weirkosh is there.
This never should even happen. The Bruins had plenty of bodies back to manage that puck. There was just some miscommunication between Pastrnak and Hamilton. Who's going to go get that puck from Rask?
Ceci backs behind his own goal, gives to Weirkosh. Lucic there, finishes his check. Ceci starts out, gives it straight ahead to Zibanejad, tries to lift it to Condra, but Campbell makes the play and turns it forward. Ceci, the quick re-entry. Condra fakes the drop, now gives to Zibanejad. Zibanejad handles it on the backhand all the way down, gets it from Ryan, sends it to Carlson, the drive to Rask, makes a strong right-to-left move that explodes off his line. Carlson with the turnaround drive right into Zibanejad's skates, and here comes Talbot on the pirouette through the neutral zone. Daniel Paille goes through the tumbling bodies, and we get offsetting penalties. We get concurrent penalties here as Campbell, who got spun around, is also going to go, I believe. So we'll have 4-on-4.
Yeah, Campbell and Carlson, I believe. See if we get a look at it. Pavlichen's going to throw that puck in. Puck's up for grab along the wall. Here comes the stick work by Carlson and the embellishment, I believe, by Campbell.
Boston Philly, 2 minutes embellishment.
No question, Carlson got his legs stick in between the legs of Campbell, but the eyes of the officials say that was embellished, so they both go.
Okay.
What a nice recovery, though, before you go there, Jack. The save by Tuukka Rask on Carlson was a real nice recovery. He had to go from that near post, get across the crease, and keep that right pad in a good spot. And you were going to say?
If that's the threshold for embellishment, we ought to see a whole bunch more of that. 4-on-4 here. Krug holds at the line. Marchand turns on the boards. It's off Mark Stone's leg. Bergeron quickly through the slot to pick up the puck. But Turris, who's been strong on the stick, chops it away. He gets the pass from Ceci. Ceci fills the middle lane. Stone's backhand. Rask turns it to the end boards. Here's Mark Stone in the corner. He's got 17 goals this season. Slides it deep. McQuaid takes it. He's got Bergeron open on the right side. The long diagonal is there for Marchand. Marchand cuts to the inside. Can't complete the forehand backhand tuck. Stone works it middle. Here's Turris with a little opening. The shot trying to pick the top corner. Seidenberg got in the way. Greiba drives it in deep. Seidenberg makes the turn and one-hands it to Soderberg. Carl Soderberg strides into the Ottawa zone, curls along the goal line, makes the shortcut. Bruins changing out man by man. Soderberg's pass comes off Weirkosh, who forces it back. Seidenberg to Bartkowski, more than halfway through the 4-on-4. Seidenberg pushes the puck into the Senators' zone. Soderberg is there, battling Zibanejad all the way. Weirkosh behind his own goal. Soderberg giving him trouble every step of the way, but Weirkosh battles it out. Zibanejad slips it to Weirkosh. Weirkosh weaves over the line. Hamilton knocks it back to center. Eriksson in a race. Ceci very fast. Eriksson around him and scores! Louis Eriksson! Agility on the fly! A 4-on-4 goal, and the Bruins are up 2-0!
Well, it looked like a little bit of a late change on the back end by the Ottawa Senators in this 4-on-4 situation. I believe Greiber's going off the ice and Ceci's coming on to replace him. And the Bruins, after they forced the turnover in the defensive zone, are just going to lob this puck out into center ice. Heads up play by Dougie Hamilton, go indirect off the wall, allow Louis Eriksson to get to that puck, but then it's Eriksson's show after that. The one-handed self-pass, step around CC. And as Anderson tries to come out and attack, he just patiently pulls that puck around him and buries it.
Wow. Bobby Ryan can't one-hand it past Max Talbot. Talbot up to the red line, spoons it, it bounces off the dasher down to the corner. Greiba taking Paille all the way to the wall. Talbot finishes his check on the thought, but here's an opening for Legwand with Karlsson fresh out of the box. It's 2-on-1. Karlsson's shot saved by Rask. McQuaid down on his belly, swatting the puck with the shaft of the stick over to the corner boards. Karlsson with a great chance there. Here's Ryan bouncing it down the slide. Karlsson right in front. Legwand shot saved by Rask. Tuukka Rask getting the blocker up on Legwand. Tuukka Rask has made some acrobatic saves tonight. Possible turning point in this game.
You talk about timely stops, not only acrobatic, just absolutely special saves, but the timing.
Ottawa looking for an emotional lift after falling behind 2-0 and had two good chances. Better than good.
What timing for Karlsson to step out of the box, and the penalty box for Ottawa on that side, the offensive side of the red line for this period.
Here comes Stone all the way back to Turris, finds the puck in his skates. Pastrnak makes the block. Lucic 2-on-1 with Spooner against Karlsson. McCulloch coming back. Lucic powers to the middle, and Spooner scores! The second of the night for the local kid. And the Bruins are up 3-0.
Wasn't sure if Milan Lucic was going to get the lane that he wanted. There was a potential 2-on-1, but Bukalik was on a good back check after the good shot block by Pastrnak. Just pushes that puck forward. 2-on-1 potential with Spooner on the left side. But Lucic just kind of powers. He leans in with that left shoulder. And when that puck's just out in front of him, almost on one hand, Karlsson's going to make a better play than that defensively. He allows that pass to get past him, and Spooner's open at that far post to chip it in.
2 goals in 1 minute and 32 seconds for the Bruins. One on the finesse of Louis Eriksson and one on the power of Milan Lucic. And as they review every goal in the Situation Room in Toronto, they'll take another look at this one and make sure it's a legal goal. Bruins fans in the crowd.
Well, we'll get a look at it. Yeah, let's look at the overhead. Is there a kicking motion? How does this puck go in? It looks like it goes off his skate, and then Spooner tries to get it with the stick. Doesn't look like he gets it with the blade of his stick, but I'm not seeing any kicking motion there. Are you, Jack?
No.
I just don't understand Karlsson. I mean, you give Lucic the one-handed backhand.
After further review, the play on the ice stands. There's no distinct kicking motion.
Yep. It's a formality. And some fans think that if they're looking at it, they're automatically going to reverse it. No, they more often than not, they affirm the call on the ice.
Well, a big 3 minutes right now. This is a 3-goal lead for Boston and a huge game for both teams. These 3 minutes right here, keep your 3-0 lead at worst.
Anderson slings the puck off the corner. Bergeron gets the body in the way. Riley Smith tries to cycle it deep. Seidenberg shoves the puck forward to the goal line, just where the Bruins want it. Peugeot getting leverage against Riley Smith. Conra almost gives it away to Bergeron, but the puck tumbles to Lazar. Cuts the corner around the goal. Mathak gives to Karlsson. Karlsson through the center circle to the wide open Conra. He closes, hits the post. That's 3 for Ottawa tonight. Soderberg to Marchand with Smith, the trailer. It bounces all the way through to Soderberg at the post. Karlsson hard off the boards. It gets past McQuaid. It'll make the goal line. That's going to be icing against Ottawa.
Cast your vote for the Bruin that's performed above and beyond. Visit NESN.com/7player, and you can win a 3-year lease on a 2015 Chrysler 200 Limited, courtesy of Central Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram and Central Auto Team during the awards season event. Visit NESN.com/7player now.
Now, Brick, you mentioned how important those 3 minutes are. It's down to 2 minutes to go in the second period. Kelly in the corner. Back to McQuaid. And that one flips back down into the corner. Soderberg turns it toward goal. Converse stick handling laterally in his own zone. Peugeot just cracks it forward. The Bruins 22-2-1 when leading by 2 at any point in the game. But when you extend it to a 3-goal lead, the Bruins are 12-0-1. And of course that one was Calgary's 3-goal comeback out in Western Canada.
Yeah, and it takes discipline right now here in the final minute and a half. If you have a chance in the offensive zone, only if you're 100% sure you're going to get that puck to the net. It's got to go below the goal line.
Alex Chiasson pulls up at the hash, marks David Legwand. The pass does not connect with Cody Ceci. The power move by Milan Lucic, a trademark move by him, and it was the 200th assist of his NHL career. Lucic in his 8th season. Bobby Ryan off the skates of Campbell. It hits the apron of the goal. Pumpel picks it up. Chara loses an edge. Pumpel gives back to Zibanejad. His shot muffled on Campbell's partial block. Talbot up the wall. Zibanejad takes it into the boards against Campbell. Hoffman into the middle, nobody home. Paille to Campbell, up to the red line. Bounces it off the boards. Borowiecki knocks it down with 35 seconds to go. A bit of an aimless pass. Hamilton, Bergeron picks it up and wrists one hard off Anderson's pass. And Marchand on the end boards. Marchand feathering it onto the open face of the stick and getting a screen from Smith, just missing the stick side post. Bruins getting the puck deep again. Ryan can't control the attempt for the outlet pass. 10 seconds to go. McQuaid with some clock management here. Getting the verbal signals from the Boston bench. Shielding the puck from Bobby Ryan. Knocking it ahead to Smith. And the Bruins expand their lead in a game that Ottawa feels it has to have to jump back into the playoff chase. 2 for Spooner. Rask has been sparkling, and it's 3-0 after 40 minutes.
The importance of the power play, the first Spooner goal coming with the man advantage. That got the Bruins a little momentum in this hockey game. They had the benefit of 3 posts. The hockey gods on the side of the Bruins in that second period, but they earned each goal that they scored.
Yeah, well, it's his birthday. Tuukka Rask deserves a break, right, Dale? Fitness judgment-free zone play.
What an individual effort by Louis Eriksson, 17th goal of the year. That's a goal scorer's move.
The finesse, thinking ahead, on the fly, and giving the Bruins insurance. Alongside Andy Brickley, with Garrett Austin at ice level. And our NESN production crew, I'm Jack Edwards. Glad you can be with us. 3-0 Bruins. Moments ago, Brick had a chance to chat with Bruins assistant coach Doug Huda.
Special teams so important when you talk about winning games over the course of an 82-game schedule, Doug. The power play certainly have been a weapon, but let's start with the penalty killing. He had a couple penalties to Pastrnak in that first period. Ottawa's had 3 power plays, no goals. What do you like about it? What needs to improve on it?
Well, I think we got to make sure we're getting the pucks down. We turned a couple of pucks over in the neutral zone on the PK to make sure that we're getting our clears so that we can get good changes and fresh people out there. Other than that, I mean, we got to make sure that we match their speed, skate with their speed, and obviously just stay out of the box.
5 power play goals, still with a period to go over the last 3 games. The power play started the scoring. Spooner buries that one to give you a 1-0 lead. What's working with the man advantage?
Well, those guys are moving it around, and they're showing different looks. And when you got to thread it back on the top with Torrey and Dougie walk in there, and you've got that middle threat with the bumper with Bergie, I mean, it's tough to handle, and I'm glad we don't have to kill against that.
Well, another opportunity to keep a team that's chasing you down with a victory tonight. Good luck in the 3rd period.
Thanks, guys.
Ryan Spooner has expanded his consecutive game scoring streak to a career-high 6 with a couple of goals tonight. 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points in 6 games. And in the longer view, Spooner now has 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in his last 8. Point per game pace, filling the breach for the injured David Krejci. Mika Zibanejad pulls up hash marks. That puck is off a stick, and Bergeron blocks the centering pass. Riley Smith to the far side. Ryan off the board. Smith out to the middle of the line. Carlson can't control it, and Marchand will stretch the strides against Mark Mathot.
Now, the Bruins have to take a realistic approach to where they are in this hockey game right now. 3-goal lead, 20 minutes to go to put this one away, win this game in regulation. However, think about that second period, the 3 posts, the 21 shots. You were more opportunistic than your opponent. You want some situational goal scoring in a 5-on-4, a 5-on-5, a 4-on-4, but you know you can tighten up defensively.
And excluding the sudden death overtime period, The Ottawa Senators, who have been playing some excellent hockey of late, have been outscored 7-0 in their last 60 minutes of 5-on-5 play. Tuukka Rask has been spectacular tonight.
Yeah, his ability to track the puck has been outstanding. His positioning's been real good. You know, he has that demeanor, Jack, and we talk about it all the time. Just so much confidence and economy of motion. When he plays that way, he's just a dominant player in goal. He's the backbone of this team. And everyone talking about how big this game was, the playoff atmosphere, and he wants to bring his best in these situations. And boy, through 2 periods, he's given his team everything he's got.
Campbell spins around to win the face-off to the end boards. Chara there. Campbell winning the draw against Turris. Turris juggles it out of the air, shortening the stick. Now cuts across the high slot with problems from Talbot on one side and Hamilton on the other. Chara up the boards, bounces off the dasher. Talbot jamming against Turris, and Chara comes in to help out, but here's McCulloch. Can't step through Hamilton, who kept the body in good position, but Stone gets the puck off the corner board. Turris in front. The pass hammers off Cece's skates. Now off Turris's blades, throws it into the slot. Weirkosh down the boards. Turris holds, chips it high, middle of the zone for McCulloch. Paille, good effort as his stick was tied up with McCulloch, so he just punched the puck free with his left glove.
It was a big play because they spent that entire shift in their own zone. They needed to get it out. They needed to get fresh bodies.
Patrick Weirkosh lugs it out over the middle of his own line. Chiasson gets a piece of the puck. McQuaid softly off the end boards. Pumpel going to work, gives to Chiasson around the perimeter. Borowiecki's wrist shot wide on the stick side of Rask. Greiva comes in. Spooner waves at it one-handed. The puck squirts all the way out to Lucic. He takes the hit from Legwand to get it center. But the Bruins unable to make a play forward to the red line. Here comes Ottawa again. You know what the Sens are thinking? If the Flames could do it to us, we can do it to the Bruins.
Yeah, they may be thinking, this could be our season, boys. We got to come out and give our best here in the 3rd period. Give ourselves a chance to win a game.
Yep. Legwand on the wraparound, and it tumbles to the line, and Hoffman an extra swat. McQuaid takes exception to that. Now Hoffman pokes back at McQuaid, and McQuaid gives him another shove. The gloves stay below collarbone level, so there won't be any roughing penalties here. But it is the season for Ottawa, Brick, because if Ottawa loses this game, the Bruins are going to be 7 points up on them, and Ottawa is going to have a game in hand, but only 16 to play, and 7 points in 16 games. That is a significant move, even with one head-to-head left next Thursday here.
Yeah, and I think Bruins fans, when they take a look at the Ottawa Senators, saying, wow, they went on an unbelievable run, while the Bruins conversely struggled a little bit. They got themselves right back into a playoff hunt. But can they sustain that? Even before you start thinking about the Bruins and what they've done in their last 7, that 5-1-1 record, and the expectations for the Bruins team here in this month of March and the first week or so of April. But, you know, is Ottawa able to continue this kind of winning pace? And it's highly doubtful, even though they played very well.
Requires so much energy to have a streak like that. Hamilton's wrist shot into the gut of Craig Anderson. The Bruins have their first shot on goal about 3 minutes into the 3rd period.
Joy Patrice Bergeron on 98.5 The Sports Hub, and some of your favorite Bruins for the 8th annual Cuts for a Cause on March 24th at the Boston Park Plaza Hotel. The Bruins will have their heads shaved by auction winners to show their support and raise money for the Boston Bruins Foundation and the Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center. For tickets, or to see how you can have your head shaved by a Bruins player, visit bostonbruins.com/cuts-for-a-cause.
Hamilton's snapshot and another glove stop by Anderson.
Jack, just want to sneak in a quick, get well wish to Johnny McKenzie in the hospital right now with a hip injury, and hopefully he's watching the game tonight. So one of the Bruins members of the Bruin family, and wish you the best, Pie.
Is there anybody who better embodies the attitude of all out all the time than Johnny Pie McKenzie?
Nobody.
I mean, wakes up in the morning in 3rd gear, quickly gets it into 6th. Tremendous guy. Campbell knocks down the attempt to clear. Legwand deflects it all the way through the neutral zone.
And that's the discipline I'm talking about right there, Jack. You know, Campbell's trying to make a play to the middle of the offensive zone. I get that. That's what you want to do. But maybe throw that puck below the goal line, especially early in this period, to force Ottawa to play in their zone and have to come 200 feet.
Cece leaves it back of the goal, gets the return from Pumpel. North and south, and it's wide of Rask's goal. Seidenberg wins the race to the dots. It's icing.
Tonight, after the post-game show, keep it here for NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Adam and Elle will have more on Bruins coverage, the latest on the Patriots situation as NFL free agency opens, and Red Sox highlights and reaction as they take on the Blue Jays in Florida. Get all you need to know tonight immediately following the postgame show.
Soderberg and Legwand, neither one touches the puck, and the bodies go flying over the dot. Kelly in the mix. Krug gloves it down, steps all the way past the hash marks, throws it on Anderson. A penalty coming here. Ceci with the touch, hooking the call. Chiasson's going to go.
Nice job again by Torrey Krug. That mobility that we speak about all the time. At that left point, he's able to step laterally down the wall.
Ottawa penalty number 9, 2 minutes for hooking.
And as he attacks the offensive zone and tries to get towards the net, the stick work by Chiasson right there, the second one. They let the first one go, not the second one. He'll go to the box. And what an opportunity for Boston to really plant the seed of doubt with a power play goal right here.
Senators, Mutual Senator number 90.
Briva makes the clear.
2 minutes for hooking.
Dougie Hamilton leads out Ryan Spooner. Briva confronts him. Hamilton swoops back and picks up the puck. Bergeron moving to the right to try to open up space. Hamilton's pass off of Condra's stick. Spooner coming deep to make himself available. Now a couple of quick steps on the pivot. Leaves it off the boards, and Condra flips the coaster the length of the bar. Bergeron in front of the Boston bench, jams it ahead to Spooner to Erickson. Drop pass for Krug. Krug through the passing lane to Chara. Chara, the return to Krug. Slap pass for Lucic, looking for the redirection on the backhand. Mathot drills it off the boards. It rolls all the way down to Rask. Minute to go in Chiasson's penalty. Chance for the Bruins to all but remove hope from the Senators, to go up by 4 with about 15 to go. Lucic trying to tear away from Ceci. Ceci gets the body in the way. Ryan lobs the puck through the neutral zone. Zibanejad can't get around Chara. Zibanejad gives Rask a little bump.
Tuukka protected the puck well.
Lucic cross ice. And Pastrnak is offside, trying to drag the puck in.
Yeah, Bruins got to get a little sharper with the man advantage. Still plenty of time. 30 seconds to go with this power play. Not sharp with their puck moving, particularly coming through the neutral zone. If you're real good at moving that puck up the ice, obviously you spend more time in the offensive end and you increase your chances of scoring, whether it's off the rush or with puck possession and plays in the offensive zone. But you got to work it through the neutral zone. Ottawa doing a nice job forcing the Bruins into some bad decisions and some bad execution.
Lazar wins the faceoff. Back to Mathot. Blast one off of Lucic. Pastrnak leaves it for Smith. Finds a lot of ice. Pastrnak, the Gumby stretch, and he stays on side somewhat amazingly.
Yeah, but that's the second time the Bruins tried that drop pass when they get in between the blue line and tops of the circles, and Ottawa's been waiting for it.
0 shots on goal during the power play for Boston. Chara over the center circle. Weirkot risks the puck off the glass. Now Kyle Turris cuts to the right, working against Seidenberg and Campbell. Fires it wide of the goal and comes all the way around. Stone takes possession back at the red line, slips it between the stick and skates of Talbot to get the puck to Carlson. Turris slings it around the boards. Weirkot takes the bump from Kelly to get the puck deep again. Turris against Seidenberg on the end boards. Bartkowski bears off his check so Seidenberg can clear things out. Bartkowski taking down Stone behind the Boston goal, but the Bruins ice it, and the faceoff comes all the way back to Rask's end.
Tomorrow on NESN Live, Sarah Davis will have the latest from the Bruins, as well as a preview of the Celtics hosting the Grizzlies. And Elle Duncan will be live in Fort Myers with Red Sox highlights and reaction after they take on the Yankees. Get the inside story on NESN Live, presented by Cross Insurance, weekday nights at 5:30.
Zibanejad and Campbell on the draw. Zibanejad gets tossed off the dock. So Ryan will take it. Campbell. And they'll drop it a third time. Hoffman with 24 goals. Ryan and Zibanejad each with 17. This is the power line for Dave Cameron's Ottawa Senators, who've gone 9 consecutive games without a regulation loss. Campbell with a forearm shiver drops Ryan out at the blue line. Kelly squibs it through to the neutral zone. Mathot carries in and slings the puck hard to the end boards. Rask taps to Bartkowski. He draws Ryan, gives to the corner to Seidenberg. Indirect out to Talbot, posting up in the neutral zone. Slides it off the boards and in. The Bruins get a full change. Here's Ryan on the break. The drive going wide, but Rask gloves it, looking extremely confident, and why not? No promises that Ryan Spooner will get his third of the game tonight, but we got a hat trick for you on Saturday on NESN at 1. The Bruins at Pittsburgh, immediately followed by Merrimack BU in the Hockey East quarterfinals at 4 p.m. Immediately followed by Vermont BC at 7. All on NESN, 3 in a row. Alex Chiasson, Eric Greiba, both BU products. On an Ottawa team that has rocketed upward in the Eastern Conference standings and is playing for some very important standings points right here. The Bruins' victory puts Boston ahead by 7 on Ottawa and really severely limits the Sens' chances to get to that second wild card slot. Looked as if Anderson handled the puck really near the outside of that trapezoid. Eriksson trying to stick handle through traffic, too many layers, and here comes Hoffman, the leading goal scorer for Ottawa. Gets the bump back from Zibanejad, but the Bruins have layers themselves. Soderberg trickles the puck around the thought, deep. 12.5 to go in the game. Zibanejad off the corner boards. Pumpel throws the puck back of his own goal. Carlson's probably going to play pretty much the rest of the game.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Plays 27 on average every night, and one other guy plays over 20.
Here's Peugeot all the way in. The shot wide on the stick side of Rask. Rask came all the way to the top of his crease, didn't give him much. But Peugeot is a talented player, couldn't keep it on goal. Conrad's shot goes off Krug's and McQuaid's sticks, up and out of play.
Yeah, Mathot, the other guy that plays over 20 because he plays with Carlson, but nowhere near the 27. Get a look at the opportunity for the Ottawa Senators. Peugeot able to pick that loose puck up, dance inside of Torrey Krug. And now it's just he and Rask. He tries to go high blocker. Wide.
Once again, Peugeot, Pumpel and Condra with Ceci and Wierkosh, the defensive pair. Condra throws it into the legs of Pumpel. Condra in the corner. Bergeron takes away the centering pass, knocks down the puck. It's loose at the side of the goal. Smith knocks it to the boards. Wierkosh slaps it down to Condra in the corner off McQuaid's legs. Bounces to Peugeot against Seidenberg. He slides it back to Wierkosh. His rocket off the end boards. A score! Matt Pumpel puts it in for his first NHL goal, and it gives the Ottawa Senators life with 11.5 to go.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it's Pumpel, and he hasn't played a ton of games for the Ottawa Senators. Not sure how familiar he is with this rink. He's working the front of the net. He's looking for a screen shot. He drifts over to that far post when the drive comes from the left point. He's able to shake and get a little position, although it doesn't look like much position against McQuaid. And that drive from the point from Wierkosh comes off the boards. Behind the net of Tuukka Rask and comes out on that other side. And Pumpel's just in a good position to get his stick on it into an empty net.
Well, quite a night for the guys who were line mates in junior. Pumpel and Spooner combining for 3 of the 4 goals scored tonight. By the way, the third guy in that line was Zach Kassian. he presumably did the dirty work.
I would assume that for sure. although Pumpel likes to mix it up.
You know, it's funny because Spooner was talking to us about that this morning and saying that You know, Pumple wasn't a guy who mixed it up a lot, but then when he was in the AHL, he got in plenty of fights. Any way to get into the NHL, show what you can do.
Well, with this lead cut to 2 now at 3-1, and expect a little bit more of a push from the Ottawa Senators. Now get a little momentum and a little believability. Bruins got to start making more plays.
Chara against Mark Stone, a funny bounce, and Rask has to stay close to the post. McCollum jamming in there, and Chara tries to keep things settled down.
Yeah, you just can't be content with chipping the puck into the neutral zone. Now the Bruins going to make more plays coming out of their own zone, a little bit more offensive zone time than they've had here in the third period. Stone tries to just force that puck out front, deflects off Campbell, and Rask has to keep that short side sealed off.
A power play goal by Ryan Spooner. A 4-on-4 goal by Louis Eriksson. Spooner cashing in front for a 3-0 lead, all in the second period, even though the Bruins were outshot 21-10 in the middle frame. And now Ottawa going to work in the third, clinging to hope. Carlson's wrist shot skids wide. Eriksson against Mathot. Zibanejad scoops it high in the glass. Hoffman takes the hit from Eriksson. Zibanejad, a little juggle move over the stick, brings the puck back in possession, but Seidenberg working him over. Zibanejad, who added strength in the offseason, staying with it, but then trips over a stick. Crowd asking for a call, but not getting one. Carlson long to the attacking line, does not connect. That's going to be icing against Ottawa. Spooner the difference maker with Lucic and Pastrnak. Chara's wrist shot save. Anderson loose in front, and Lucic nudges it past the post. Spooner along the boards. Can't make the pass back to the point man. Pastrnak takes the puck and loops it in from center.
Nice face-off win by Ryan Spooner. We didn't talk much about that in the second period, Jack, but the Bruins upped the percentage in that second period in face-offs. Despite the 21 shots they gave up, they won 70% of face-offs in that second period.
Spooner now just 1-1 on the night. Pastrnak steals from Carlson. Spooner unable to settle things down with Anderson scrambling to get back in the net. Here comes Curtis Lazar. Dougie Hamilton extends the stick and poke checks the puck away. It's loose with Pumple throwing it to the post. Legwand banks the pass to Borowiecki to Gryba. Gryba's wrist shot, leg save by Rask. Hamilton one-hands it up the boards. Lucic can't get it past Legwand at the blue line. Gryba knocks the puck cross ice. Hamilton doubled over. Borowiecki's shot saved by Rask, and Pumple keeps possession of the corner. Back to Gryba. Settles the puck. It's off Lucic, but it dribbles through to Pumple. Off the corner boards. Krug takes it. And a tumbling muffin all the way down toward Anderson. That's going to be icing against the Bruins. Wouldn't be anyone's surprise if the Bruins get a timeout here. Dougie Hamilton's going right down the tunnel, and we'll keep an eye on him to see if he returns.
Due to injury, they can replace Hamilton on the back end. We'll see who Claude Julien wants to go with here in this situation. We'll get a look at the action again. Ottawa keeping the pressure on. Good left pad stop by Rask. We talked about this line and how effective they can be. The Spooner line, obviously with a pair of goals, one on the power play tonight, one at even strength, but at times they get hemmed in their own zone. We saw it against Philly, we saw it against Detroit. And here it is against Ottawa in the third period. Under 10 minutes to go, they spent the entire shift in their own zone. I shouldn't say the entire shift, but a lot of that shift in their own zone. Pastrnak up ice actually made a steal. Spooner had a chance on the back end, try to find Lucic. They didn't quite get a shot away. But the end of that shift in their own zone, and because it was a lengthy shift and a lot of time spent in their own zone, and you lose your defenseman Hamilton, the Bruins opt to use this opportunity for a timeout.
Dougie Hamilton averaging 21 minutes, 35 seconds per game for the Bruins. Chara at 22:57, the team leader. Dennis Seidenberg at 21:57. Hamilton, along with Riley Smith, Carl Soderberg and Dennis Seidenberg, one of just 4 Bruins to appear in every single regular season game. Off the drop, Cody Ceci throws it toward goal. It's off McCulloch's legs to the corner. Lucic bangs Turris. The puck's in Chara's skates. Lucic finds it, muscles around Turris. Spooner redirects the pass to Pastrnak, and he goes 1 against 3. Carries all the way into the attacking zone as the team changes out behind him. Pastrnak tries to sling it cross ice, maybe a little optimistic, and Turris takes it to Stone forward. Bergeron stabs at the puck. Turris can't center through Marchand. Bergeron knocks the pass all the way back to center, but Wiercioch has possession. It's all Ottawa here in the 3rd period. The Bruins had 18 shots through 2. They've got just 21. 11 minutes into the 3rd. Into the center, and Smith can't get it past Stone. Stone to the boards. Smith forces him back to center, but Stone keeps possession. Gives to Karlsson. The Ottawa captain backs to his own line. Now accelerates into the Boston zone past Marchand, stick check. Slings it back to center, and Mathot keeps possession for Ottawa.
You got to go at Karlsson and just say, I got him, I'm going to take him. I'll give him the pass by me, but I'm going to stay right in front of him.
Seidenberg wins it away from Peugeot, but then knocks it into Pumpel's skates. Karlsson's one-timer with Condra jamming in the slot. Paille can't get the puck past Mathot. The big guy, Mathot, throws it to the end boards, and Boston's big guy, Adam McQuaid, wins it there. Max Talbot against Karlsson, turns and flips it, but Peugeot is rotating. He dribbles it down to the corner. Pumpel brings it back to Karlsson along the line to Wiercioch against Campbell. Wiercioch sprints to the corner, keeps it at the end of his control. Wiercioch back to Karlsson, has to flatten the puck against Paille. Wiercioch all over the zone, turns, flings it into McQuaid's body. Karlsson, the defenseman in the slot, slips the pass back to Peugeot, fakes the shot over to Wiercioch. Looks like a power play here, intentionally wide. Rask gets the carom off the end boards. Pumpel back to Wiercioch. Here comes another one, and Campbell down on a knee to make a courageous block. The Bruins in an emergency change. Karlsson just stays out there, tries to flip it through the seam. Talbot intercepts, dribbles it in to the Ottawa zone. The Boston skaters complete a change man by man.
Yeah, this is like Karlsson going to the bench. He's just kind of standing around catching my breath at the end of the shift. He was so involved. When he go to the bench, he's just exhausted.
Gliding now, nothing left. Hoffman indirect, it's in. Zibanejad skates the plays offside. 6.5 to go in the game. The Bruins hanging on for dear life, getting outshot 35-21. Tampa Bay's in a pretty good one tonight. 3rd period against Montreal, 0-0. 3-1 Boston here against the Ottawa Senators. 6.5 to go in the game. The Senators have dominated the 3rd period, playing with the desperation one would expect. If the Bruins win this game in regulation, Ottawa falls 7 points behind Boston with only 16 to play. Chris Kelly flips the puck down into the corner. Soderberg comes off the wall, runs into Borowiecki. Campbell goes pinwheeling off the contact with Zibanejad. Has Zibanejad with Hoffman left. Hoffman gets the toe of the blade on it, pokes it down into Hamilton's corner. Hamilton returning after getting a little bit bumped up and having to go down the tunnel. Kelly trying to stick handle around Ryan. Can't get it past Karlsson, who's back out there, as one would imagine after a TV timeout. Mark Mathot with Bergeron nearby. Reverses to Karlsson. Marchand pressures Karlsson. Here's Bobby Ryan from the hash mark. Shoulder save by Rask. A shot with purpose from Ryan. Very difficult for Rask to handle without giving up some sort of rebound. Turris lugs it back towards Seidenberg. Goes a drop pass off the boards. Here's Karlsson's blast, saved by Rask, as Karlsson took Stone's cross-ice feed and uncorked the beauty. Here's Wiercioch. Turris' drive, but Rask is waiting for it, reading the puck beautifully and getting square before Turris could release the shot. Karlsson into Marchand's body. Marchand shielding the puck, pulls up, has Smith with him, gives to Smith, around Karlsson, and he goes over the bar. Magnificent work by Marchand, showing speed, strength, purpose, imagination, and touch all in the same shift.
Yeah, and I think Riley Smith knew that it was Carlson in coverage, so he knows he can take a chance one-on-one. There's probably not going to be any body contact there. He steps right around him and just misses on the blocker side.
Paille tries to bank it in off Anderson's leg, and the puck trickles through the crease. McQuaid jumping into the play, can't keep the puck in the attacking zone. 4.5 to go. The Bruins trying to put Ottawa away. Key play brought to you by your New England Audi dealers.
Well, after a block in the defensive zone by David Pastrnak, he just pushes the puck ahead to Milan Lucic. A potential 2-on-1, but a good back check by Michalek, and it forces Lucic to have to lean in with that left shoulder, try to protect the puck, and he's successful on his one-handed pass through Erik Karlsson to Ryan Spooner off that far post. Off his skate, chips up and in across the goal line. His second of the night, gave the Bruins a 3-0 lead.
This game could end up being analogous to Ottawa's season. A lousy start for the Senators, falling way behind, turning out a tremendous effort that required immense amounts of energy, and then just not having enough to finish the job at the end. You consider what the Philadelphia Flyers did with their late season push, and the Bruins smacked them down and took away a lot of their hope. Well, they lost 2-1 to Dallas tonight, a team that's out of the playoff structure in the Western Conference. So Philadelphia, if the Bruins keep this score the same, will be 9 points out with 14 to play, and that game is over.
Yeah, and we highlighted the 8-0-1 run that Ottawa was on coming into tonight, but tonight was the game they had to get. They're chasing down the Bruins, and where are they the next two? At Montreal, at Long Island.
Yep. For those of you not checking the standings every day, Islanders are at the top of the East. John Tavares with one of the best highlight goals of the season. Bobby Ryan dangling, throws the beanbag in front. It's off Kelly. Chara tries to nudge it over to Eriksson, who can't clear the zone. Chara knocks down the flip shot in front, and the Bruins just sky it out with 3.5 to go. This is a huge 2.5 or 3 minutes for the Bruins here to try to keep Ottawa from getting within one. Kelly getting underneath Zibanejad. Chara, dangerous pass across the defensive zone, but it deflects out to center. Hoffman slings it around behind Rask. Ottawa with fresh reinforcements. 5 fresh skaters coming off the bench. Chara fires it forward, gives it away to Michalek. Michalek into the middle for Turris. He misses over the glove side of Rask. The Bruins turning it over in the defensive end. Cece's shot and a save by Rask, reaching through Michalek. Bergeron patient with the puck. Aerial job diagonally past Marchand.
Yeah, there's not even a forecheck coming because Ottawa has to change out, and the D-to-D pass from Seidenberg to Bartkowski just kind of explodes on him, the turnover.
Bartkowski can't get anything on the backhand. Turris. Bartkowski plays the body. Campbell plays the puck. Marchand eats it down in the corner with Cece pressuring. Now Michalek squeaks it through to Stone. Stone shielding from Marchand, turns it to the backhand. Stone brings it back to Cece at the line. He risks it around the boards. Turris picks it up on the backhand. Seidenberg engages. Turris gets loose. Gets it to Stone. Holds the stick. Drives it. Looks for a deflection. It wiggles on the apron of the goal. Loose on the strings. Weirkox, the defenseman, forward to the goal line. There's your desperation. Cece into the middle for Michalek. Tries to go backhand, forehand. Marchand busts it past Stone. He's got Talbot in the middle. Marchand shot. Leg saved by Anderson. Marchand tries to chop it deep with less than 2 to go. Anderson quickly makes a break for the Ottawa bench. It's 6 skaters against 5 with an empty net. Soderberg picks it off and skips one just wide, looking for his first goal in 20 games that would have sunk the knife into the heart of the Ottawa Senators. Karlsson bounces it over the line. McQuaid off the glass.
Well, Anderson wanted to go initially, but the turnover and the 2-on-1 potential by Marchand kept him in there. Marchand just too late in the shift.
Karlsson, middle of the line, slings the pass for Hoffman. Hard around for Legwand. Legwand A-framing for some space. Hoffman taps past McQuaid to Ryan in front. Chara picks it off, gives it away to Hoffman. It's underneath Kelly. The Bruins get it to the line, but not out. Now the thought around the boards. Comes all the way to Legwand with exactly a minute to go in the game. Karlsson holds middle of the line, the backhand tap to Legwand. Down low, Hoffman in one motion makes the shot, and Rask deflects the puck up over the high glass in the corner of the rink. 52.5 seconds to go.
Yeah, do you use your timeout now, or you hope that there's another whistle maybe to give you guys a breather, because you're going to want the same 6 guys out there probably for the entire 52.5 seconds.
Timeout Senators. Timeout Senators.
Shots in the third period are 18-4 in favor of Ottawa. The game report brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Ryan Spooner, the local kid from Ottawa. A couple of goals to make the difference in this one.
Yeah, we've talked about Ryan Spooner and, into the lineup because of the injury to David Krejci. What do you want from him? Well, he's given you a lot more confidence on this recall than at any point prior to. He's being productive. Coaching staff trying to put him in positions to make him successful, but his execution on the man advantage has been good. You want to be even or better when it comes to the plus-minus. You don't want to be a weak link on a team that really prides itself on being strong down the middle, and he's been good.
Patrice Bergeron, 10 and face-off. Kyle Turris will take the draw for Ottawa. He's 5-4 head-to-head against Bergeron tonight. The Senators' net empty. 6 skaters against 5 with 54.1 seconds to go as they've reset the clock. Examining it during the timeout. Carlson over to Zibanejad. The shot goes wide. Legwand couldn't put it in the open side. The puck with a ton of energy in it. And this pass back to the line goes all the way back to the Ottawa blue line. Turris trying to get it through the layers. Seidenberg chips out. Carlson in the final 30 seconds. Boston up by 2. Hoffman has the puck bounce on him. Zibanejad around to Ryan. Throws it right on Rask. Ryan taps it deep. Seidenberg fans on the first try. Comes back to the backhand. It's high off Ryan. Erickson lugs it out past the blue line. Muscles it at the red line. Final 10 seconds. Kyle Turris, Bruins fans celebrating. Tuukka Rask has a happy birthday, making 39 saves as the Boston Bruins send Ottawa to the brink. A 7-point lead on the Sens for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
Well, everything we heard all day long, whether you picked up the paper and read or you had sports on television, was playoff game tonight for the Ottawa Senators. The atmosphere should be all about win tonight. Not a must-win because it's not a Game 7 or an elimination situation, because there's still plenty of hockey to go. But like they felt like they had to win this hockey game. The Bruins far more opportunistic tonight. They do enough to win this hockey game, but a lot of this is on the shoulders of Tuukka Rask. Phenomenal performance.
David Legwand had a great chance, but he was thwarted by the save of the game, brought to you by Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you?
Well, you already mentioned the 39 stops tonight for Tuukka Rask. This one with the blocker against David Legwand, absolutely spectacular. He's got to quickly reposition. He's got to be athletic. He's got to track the puck, and he's got to save the puck. And he did it all.
It was the win that Ottawa had to have, Dale, but the Bruins come out of Canadian Tire Center with more tread on their tires.